Hello and welcome back to episode 2 part 2 of my Salem tutorial series. This is a continuation on from where I left off in part 1. So we had just created a drying rack, as you can see there. Don't know if you know, but if you right click on it, it opens up the drying frame, so you could then put hides on there to dry, but we'll get to that in due course. For now, the game is asking us to create a flint axe, so that is what we shall do. Notice that new icons have been opening up as we've been going along. What we need to do though is do what it's told us, craft a flint axe. So left click the crafting icon, and you'll see now new little boxes are appearing. See this window as components, and this window is your tools. So left click the tools and left click the flint axe. Okay, it's telling us now that we need a branch and a flint. So let's show you how to get them. The branch you know already. Right click the tree, left click pick branch. Okay, now over here you'll see on the ground there is a stone. On the mini map it shows you icons of flints and of stones. Okay, they do look, when you see them on the ground, different. The stone looks like a tiny little stone, but that I can tell you now is a flint. So left click over to walk near it, right click on the flint and left click pick. There we go, we've now got the flint and the branch. So that's how you find the flint though. See on the mini maps there's 3 more. You just walk around and they will appear as they come in range. For the branches you just pick them off trees. Left click create.
Many resources can be harvested in Salem. Trees, boulders, bushes, just to name a few. It is these renewable resources that keep the inhabitants of Salem healthy, happy and busy. Well, perhaps just busy. Regardless, Law of the Lumberwoods will teach you what is necessary to chop down trees for processing. Learn it now.
Okay, here's where the fun starts. So it's telling us now to learn this new skill. If you bring up the proficiency, the studying window, okay, Law of the Lumberwoods is there. If we left click on it, we'll see that we need 350 flora and fauna and 250 sparks and embers. Now if we go down here to our maple that we created earlier, that gives us only 75 sparks and embers, but it does give us, if we study both of them, we'll have 400 flora and fauna, so enough of that. But we won't have enough sparks and embers. So what we'll do, I will show you how to do it. So let's close that crafting window. Left click on the crafting window, left click the inspirationals. There is the one that we want, captivating flame. Left click on it. You will see that we need 1 maple leaf, 2 twig, 2 branches and 2 kindling. Now what is kindling? This is kindling. So we have the kindling already. Okay, and this was a new update, a recent update. It used to be that you got pine cone needles from when you picked a pine cone. Now you get these items, which is much nicer because they have many more uses. Anyway, so we've got the kindling. Let's pick 2 branches. There we go, we got the branches. Now we just need the maple leaves. So we'll zoom out and there's a maple tree. So we'll walk over to the maple tree. Oh dear, I forgot to set the alarm, the timer, so I'll set it to 25 minutes. I must have been talking for not more than 5. Oh, I hope so anyway. Right, timer's set. Okay, so let's zoom in and let's pick some maple leaves. Right click the maple tree, and my cursor's going a bit funny actually. Completely bugging out. Hopefully I clicked the right one. Okay. Yep, we got maple leaves. Left click Now, in order to craft this though, we need to create a fire. So, in order, what we must do, and we can't chop the trees yet. So, what do? Let's have a look at some of the other inspirationals. Maybe there's an easier one. A Taste of the New World. Yep, I think that will do us. But sadly, we need grass. So, let's now look to see if more grass has spawned. I'm hoping it has. You'll get used to having to turn the camera angle around. It becomes very natural after a while. You really do get used to it, trust me. Usually grass is very easy to find, in fact. I think the game's got it in for me. Okay, let's look over here. It's quite a big area for the tutorial as well. You get lots of different biomes in this game, as you're going to see as we progress. I'm almost tempted to just say, oh, let's try another one. In fact, yeah. Though I'm sure that would give us what we need. Ugh. Your time is so precious, I'm trying not to waste it, but what can I say? We need some grass. We need it badly. Right, okay, I'm going to see if I can skip the grass, see if there's another one we can make. Leafy leftovers. Right, okay, nice and simple, that one. So, let's make this and see what it gives us. Now, this tree here is not the right one. That's walnut tree. What we want is a different kind of tree. There's one there. Okay, so we need some myrtle oak leaves and some oak duff. So we'll right click the oak tree. What about that one? No. Oh, there we go. Search duff. So this tree, you see the trees regenerate over time. They don't always, if someone's picked them recently, they don't have them again straight away, or if the tree's still growing, it won't have the resource straight away, which is why that sometimes they won't have them. But for now we'll click search duff, and that will get us this oak duff leaf. There we go. We want one more. There we go. We've got what we need. And one extra. Okay, we've got the maple leaves. Now the myrtle leaves, which are from that nut bush that we picked from earlier. So I do know where there's one of them. Hopefully I've not got lost. Yep, right, so back over here, the north. And that's where we will find the myrtle leaves. You do get a run in the game, but it drains your blue bile, so, or your phlegm it's called. The blue bar's called phlegm. Here we are. That's what we need. Right click on it, left click pick leaves, and you will see it gives us the myrtle leaves. There we go. I'll pick away. Right, let's click craft and let's see what this inspirational gives us. Okay, does this give us sparks and embers? It does, and it gives us enough. Brilliant. So we need 250 of that and 350 of the other. So if I go back over it, and I believe it gives us both. Yep, there we go. Do you see, with some items, inspirationals, when you learn them it makes a sound. How cool is that? Right, left click buy.
The chief wanted to throw a wood block on his sacred fire. Once you leave this place, a fire will be your friend, and both starting and maintaining your own fire will be crucial to your survival. For now, throw a wood block on the fire. You may obtain a wood block from chopping trees, fallen logs, or piles of wood in the area.
Right, okay, so before we get on to that, notice when I learnt this inspirational, it sapped up a lot more this time of my black bile. I mean, it took 3/4 of it or over. So if we want to learn another one, we first would have to eat. Notice when you hover over the different foods, it shows you how much of the bars it will top up. So I know though that the best one to start eating first of all is blackberries, because we're going to be using these other nuts to make better food soon. So right click on a berry and eat. There we go, that's topped that up. Let's move this window out the way for now. Notice, look, they're starting to build up the list here. It's going to get massive. Okay, minimize that to the right. Okay, so now it's telling us to throw a wood block on the sacred fire. Let's show you how to do that. Before we do, let's pick some more nuts, because it saves me walking back to it. Okay, so in order to do that, first thing we need to do is equip the axe. Left click on the icon of the hat and boots called equipment. That brings up the equipment screen. Left click on the axe to pull it on your cursor, left click the left hand. And there we are, you're now wielding it. Close that window. Now what we'll do, we walk over to where we started, where Nubs is, the wonk or twonk or whatever it's called. Or was it a quonk? I can't remember. Shows you how poor my memory is. Okay, so we come back over here to where we started. I'm sure it was a twonk. Oh, never mind. See, I'm going mad already and I'm not even started yet. Right, okay, well maybe I'm mad already anyway. Okay, so here's the sacred fire that it's talking about, this big thing here. What we need to do now is chop a tree. Now we can do this, how cool is that? Let's right click and left click chop. Now you will see as it's chopping, it's going to use your endurance up. This endurance bar will slowly go down. And to start with, while your skills are very low, things take time. Notice as well, we are only starting with a basic crude flint axe. You can improve your tools. You can make iron ones, which are much better. For now though, we're just going to be on the basics, just like we started in the worm series. We will slowly, gradually work our way through, and I will hopefully show you just how much fun you are going to have from a game that is totally free to play. And you can even play it alongside Worm. How wonderful is that? In fact, I'd strongly encourage you to. Yeah, notice as we chop the tree, our, if I just bring it up, our hammer and nail skill is going up. When you chop trees, cut logs, or anything to do with cutting wood, you will notice your hammer and nail skill going up. Depending on what action you're doing, when you eat food, your sugar and spice skill will go up. Notice there it's on 5, that's because I ate that berry and it jumped up a bit. When you improve, I will get to that, I'm jumping ahead. Right, okay, we've nearly cut the tree down. Right, now you'll notice, first thing to mention, when you cut a tree down, there is a rare chance that a bird's nest will drop. Always keep your eyes open for it. Very, very useful to get, because it can have a number of items and they're all useful. So right click on the bird's nest and it will automatically pick it up for you. You see there? There's the abandoned bird's nest. You have to keep your eyes open. They don't always drop, but sometimes, rarely they do. And if they do, remember to pick them up. Okay, now to get a log, right click on this chop down tree, left click chop blocks. Okay, there we are. That's all we wanted. we've got a wood block. Now there is a second way that you could get a wood block. Let's see if I can show you quickly. Yes, I can. Okay, if we walk over here, that was a slow way, wasn't it, to cut the tree down? Well, if you're in a rush and a hurry and you see something like this, a pile of wood on the ground, right click on it and left click chop wood. Watch how quickly you get the wood. Look, bang, 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 bang. See how much quicker it is than cutting down a tree. With cutting a tree down, it's slow to cut down, then you have to chop the logs. With a pile of wood, it gives you the blocks straight away. So there we are. What we'll do, we'll quickly grab that bushweed or whatever it was called. What was it called? Tumbleweed. Always grab tumbleweeds if you see them, because they're very, very strong inspirationals. Right, let's now do what the chief has asked us. So we're going to throw a wooden block now on the fire without trying to walk into someone or something. Okay, so go back over to the fire. Left click on a log. So it's on your cursor, right click on the fire.
Oh my! All that manual labour has reduced your phlegm. Just as you recovered your black bile when studying things, you will need to recover your phlegm when you're exhausted from work. Go ahead and do so now.
Right, okay. Because we cut the tree down, it's done like I said, it's drained our phlegm, which of course me and you know as our endurance. So to top them back up, your bars, we'll eat another berry.
Current humour values are important, but certainly one wishes to grow stronger, run faster, jump higher, and simply do more. To do this, you must increase the maximum humours of your character. This is done only by the most successful of players who can afford the luxury of gluttony.
And guess what?
Consumption of food in a particular humour will permanently increase it. The higher you go, the more food you will need. Find some food and increase one of your humours.
And guess what? You are going to be a successful player because I'm showing you how to be. Okay, so it's talking about the 4 humours up here. Now, as you can see, they all start on 5. Trust me when I tell you that is very, very low, and you need to boost them all up. So what the game's just told you is you can increase all of these humours. Now, if you're asking me, oh, what's the max that you can go up to? I really have no idea. I know to kill some of the animals later on you have to have them up to 150 at least, but where they go to beyond that I have no idea, but that will be the fun we will have finding out, because guess what, we are going to get these all up high. For now though, it's asked us just to get 1 up. So in order to do this, well, it's called gluttony. Down here where you see the fork at either end, doesn't matter which fork you click on, they will do exactly the same. When you left click on a fork, it goes to gobble mode or gluttony mode. As you can see, these bars have emptied out, and down here you can see gobble points just below it. If we hover over a food, it will show how much of a bar it's going to fill up. So if we look at the points, where it's, do you see in the box it says when gobbled, and it's got points. It's got 0 points for your blood, your life. It's got 0.70 for your phlegm, the blue bar, and 0 for the other 2. So we're going to increase the blue bar. To do that, just left click. In fact, when you're in gobble mode, you don't have to right click, just left click on the food you want to eat.
So far your skills have been quite easy. Each one was less than 500 points and thus was obtainable by a few quick studies. However, to advance to colonial tradesmanship, you will notice that it requires more points than its accompanying proficiency bars can hold. Just as the player can expand their maximum humours, one can also expand the maximum proficiencies as well. To do so, just fill the bar completely up and press the plus sign next to it. This will cause all your points to be removed, but will allow for you to permanently hold more points in the future, and thus open even stronger and more valuable skills.
Right, okay, just to finish off the gobbling. Okay, up here you'll notice that when I gobbled that nut, my phlegm went up by 1. Notice now it says 6. So my blood, yellow bile and black bile are still 5. The one it increased was the one that it showed you with the maximum coloured blue bar. You see, so it pushed it up a point, so it's now on 6. Notice down here it tells us we got 1 gobble point. We can continue gobbling food to get another point, but the more you gobble, the longer the timer is before you can gobble again. It's called full and fed up. Now later in the game you can make potions to bring that time down. For now though, it's sufficient for me just to have mentioned that. So, to get out of gobble mode, now that we've finished gobbling, right click and it goes back to normal. Notice though that our bar is now permanently increased. How cool is that? So that's how you increase your humours with food. And there is a vast range of food, and we're going to cover it all. Okay, now what the game's telling us is increase your maximum proficiency cap. So what we have to do, let's bring up the proficiencies. Okay, we see them here. So it's telling us we have to increase our proficiency cap. So let's see, what one do we want to do? We have some inspirationals. Let's see which one will do that. So if we use this leafy leftovers, we can do our flora and fauna. Do you see, when I hover over it, the yellow bars that are appearing, it's telling you what boosts you're going to get to your proficiencies, which are these over here. If I go over the other proficiencies, the inspirational, do you see it does different ones? Do you see the difference? This one doesn't max out any. This one maxes out flora and fauna. So that's the one we're going to learn. Right click and left click study. Notice now the bars turned green and the flashing little plus symbol at the end. That tells us now if we left click, it will increase that flora and fauna. It will increase it by 200. Now if we had more of these, because if I studied another one, it's going to boost more of them up. Then when I click to increase one of them, the one that I increase will go up by 200. All the others that can be increased will increase by only 100. This is true for all of them except perennial philosophy. That will only go up by 100 and it will not increase any of the others. So for now, if I was to click that, it would just increase this. But let's study again and watch what happens. So like I've just said to you, more bars have now increased and maxed out. So if I click the flora and fauna to increase it, watch what happens when I do the plus.
Excellent! The Chief has decided it is time for your final and most important vision quest. He has asked that you learn colonial tradesmanship, a skill that will unlock skills to a variety of industries. Remember, there is safety in numbers, and joining a town in the harsh world of Salem can be one of your best tools for survival. To join one, you will want to specialise in a trade so that you have something meaningful to offer the prospective villages you encounter. Once you've increased your flora and fauna proficiency to at least 6, you will be able to fill your proficiency bars to meet the requirements for the colonial tradesmanship skill. Study some appropriate inspirationals and learn it to move on.
Right, okay, so as you can see, the flora and fauna went up by 200, like I said to you, and the other ones that were maxed also went up by 100. They only go, the secondary skills only go up by 100. The primary one, where you click on the plus, goes up by 200, except the perennial philosophy. That only goes up by 100, and it does not increase any other skills if they're full as well. Okay, so see this one as the most difficult proficiency to increase. The next most difficult is the cloak and dagger. Okay, now it's telling us to learn a new skill, colonial tradesmanship. So if we click on it, we see we need 600 flora and fauna. Oh wow, was it any coincidence that that was the skill that I chose to boost the most? I think not. But anyway, we need 600 now in that, 300 in law, and 200 in sparks and embers. Basically what we need to do is make another one of these. So do we have the components? We've got the myrtle oak leaves, we've got one oak duff, and we need some more of the other. So time is ticking, I need to get this done for you. So let's boost our food, our humans back by eating some food. Now let's find a maple tree. I'm sorry if all this information is giving you overload. You can stop the video and watch it another time, and just digest as much as you want. I will try not to do this, but I can't be helped with games like Worm and Salem. They are deep and they are wonderful. Right, let's pick some leaves. Okay, let's now find the oak duffs. Ah, there's an oak tree. So search duff. So you know the trees now. I've shown you what the trees are you need to go to make this inspirational. And remember, it's leafy leftovers we're making. Okay, now let's craft. Okay, so we got 3 more. See how easy that was. Okay, now if we go up here, this is what we need. And you'll see that it's going to boost all the right skills. All the right skills. Lore and law will be 300. Sparks and embers 270. Yep, so we only need to learn it once. And we then have this new skill. Notice it's going to open up a load more skills. Down here it tells you what it's going to allow. Okay, we click buy.
He officially releases you from your debt. A guide to the north of the village waits with his canoe to take you into the wilderness to the location of your first homestead. If you don't like the first spot, he will gladly show you a few more. Talk to the guide to leave the tribal lands.
Right, okay, so we've basically finished the tutorial and can then set off to the new world where the tutorial series will start. Before that though, I want to make a few things clear to you. I'm going to do this until the timer runs out. There are a few things that you should and must do before you leave the tutorial. Number 1. Okay, before you leave the tutorial, pick loads of nuts and food, especially food that we can use to gobble to get our yellow bar up. The yellow bar is the most important bar to increase to start with. Out of all these 4, your yellow is the most important. Why? Yellow is your strength, which controls how much you can carry. The higher you get your yellow bar, the more you will be able to carry, and the harder you will hit monsters. So, trust me when I tell you, the yellow bar is the one to get up to start with. So that's what you're going to do in the tutorial before you leave it. You're going to boost it up a few levels, because all of the resources to make the food necessary for it are readily available. Like, well, this actually does the blue bar, so, but you can gather them up and keep them in your inventory before you move on. Although I know there is one for doing, oh yeah, it's the nuts, that does the yellow. See, the nut there does the yellow, pine nuts. So what we will do, you will gather up loads of pine cones before you leave the tutorial. You will also gather some of these oak duff leaves, as they are useful for, I believe it's making the bed. Let's just check. Yes, so these components, make sure you gather them up before you leave the tutorial. They are readily available all around us. You may find them difficult to find one of the components once we leave the tutorial. So make sure you gather 10 of these, 4 of these, 2 of these. The branches don't matter, they will be common. So just make sure you gather them so you can make a bed. I will explain all about the bed in the next episode, and it's going to be a good one. Okay, what else do you need to do before you leave the tutorial? I would get your woodcutting skill up, oh goodness sake, hammer and nails. Yeah, get your hammer and nails up a bit, because it's only low just by cutting trees down and creating fires. Have some fun in the tutorial. You're not forced to leave it, it's just telling you you've got to leave. If you're like the gamester, he don't leave when he's told to, he leaves when he's ready to. So that's what you want to do before you leave. Also, it does no harm to have the components to make a lean-to, but I'm jumping ahead of myself. Well, so what we'd have to do now then, I'm going to show you how to finish the tutorial. Because 1, the time has gone, 2, the game's kicking us out. Right, so it's saying we need to speak to the native. The native is up back by the village, so go back to the village. And to the north of the village, you will find the guide. And what I will do is I will end the episode here, because I will start episode 3, which is going to be about finding a base, what we do when we start playing. I'll explain more in that episode. Wherever you are in the world, God bless you and keep every last one of you safe. I hope you have a fantastic day, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.